If you popped into the room a couple minutes earlier, then I'm sure you heard that in the background. I just flipped on YouTube, and those are some affirmations that are saying I am love, I am happiness, I am kindness, I am life, I am co-creating with the universe.
I am valuable.
You can go on YouTube and find tons of these, they're everywhere. But I saw a post earlier that asked, are mantras or affirmations worth it? Is it worth it to say them? And I've done affirmations before, kind of over maybe the last couple of years, and I found that they made me feel positive, which is great. It's a great start when you're trying anything new to just get that initial joy out of it, even if you don't understand it. For instance, yoga, like a lot of people partake in yoga because it makes it more flexible, it's fun. Hot yoga can be challenging, yoga itself can be challenging, but you just try that new thing for the sake of the joy, for the sake of the passion of just trying something new. And then after a while you realize that other practices, other intentions, other lessons start to come up. So when I first started doing affirmations, like I said, it was just, I just felt positive, like to say like, I am alive, I am beautiful, I am rich. The one that's on right now that just said I am expansive, meaning like I have room to grow. That just saying those things when I first woke up in the morning really helped me, just gave me like this sense of empowerment to start my day. And lately, I guess it's been in the last month, maybe the last 4 or 5 weeks, I found a new set of affirmations, and they are I am affirmations. There's tons of different affirmations. Some of them start off with I am, some of them are just saying positive things like, today I will have a good day, today will be the best day that I've ever had. It's speaking vision into your day. But I've found specific value with I am affirmations. And what I've found is that when you say I am, you are invoking the ultimate state of being. You are declaring who you are in that moment. And that can be such a powerful thing if you understand how to tap into it. So the one that I've been listening to consistently is like 11 minutes long. And at first I just sat on my bed, crossed my legs like I would if I'm starting meditation. And I started repeating back the affirmations. And it was, I am life. I am gratitude. I am safety. I am worthy. I am co-creating with the universe. I really loved these affirmations, and at some point in time it just clicked that when you say I am, that is the ultimate space of divinity. That is the ultimate space of declaration of what you stand for and who you are. So anything that is followed by the statement I am has the power to be manifest.
I believe in myself. I am motivated.
And I think it was maybe 2 minutes into saying that affirmation that I just realized that I was no longer saying I am. It was this power in me that was saying I am. I heard it being spoken through my lips. I heard it being processed through my mind. But the actual word, the actual power of saying I am was coming from a whole different source. So
I am powerful.
Since then, in the last 5 weeks of saying that every single morning, I have felt beyond empowered to start my day. And the most beautiful thing is, after I finished the sequence, it's like 11 minutes and 36 seconds. I listen to it every morning, I should know this. 11 minutes, 32 seconds, something like that. I started to identify with the things that I was saying. Now, this is why this is so important, this concept of identity. Because we have a body, right? You have a body. We have a mind, correct? If you people that identify heavily with the body
I am relaxed.
are said to be very passionate
calm.
people. You identify
I am at
with the
one.
experience that you have when you're eating food, with fitness, with dancing, with any sort of expression that has to do with the physical form. You are very attached to that, and you see the world through those movements, through those interactions, through other people and their movements. If you identify heavily with the mind, a lot of times you're very analytical, you're very critical,
I am right here, right
and
now.
not critical in a bad way. I guess analytical is the same thing, not critical in a bad way, but everything you do, you discern through thought first before anything else. But to those detriments, what happens when your body starts to fail, when you get sick, when you're not able to operate at 100, when you're tired? If you identify with the body, you also identify with those lower frequencies of not being at your optimum health.
I
And
am motivated. I am driven.
something in my little box that I had over there just shifted, and it looked like something was moving. Freaked me out for a second. When you identify with the mind, same thing. What if you are starting to have experiences that your mind isn't firing at optimal capacity?
I am successful.
Simply something as simple as anxiety. Maybe you're kind of stressed over something, to as long term as Alzheimer's, and you're starting to forget. So when you identify with the body or the mind, and the body or the mind are not at their optimum,
I am present.
who do you become? How do you start to act? How do you start to react? What space do you occupy when you identify with your body or your mind and they're not at their optimum? So in the last 5 weeks, what I started doing was identifying with these words that were coming out of my mouth. I started identifying with, I am
rich.
Safety. I am
abundance.
Life. I am co-creating with the universe. And the affirmations that I have playing in the back right now, I don't know if you can hear those.
I am the master of my own thoughts.
I am the master of my own thoughts. I am courageous. I am wise. The beautiful thing is when you say these things, you already are these things, and you don't have to pretend to be or find this space to be. Like if you go through your day saying, today is going to be perfect, I want today to be perfect, and you try to live your day in perfection, it's like you're putting on a act for perfection. And I say that for anything else. If you say, today I am going to be this. By deciding that thing, it takes a while to get there before it becomes natural. Just like I was saying in the beginning, when you're learning a new skill, like at first, you're just doing it because of the passion and the joy of it. It can still be uncomfortable when you're learning something new, right? Same thing with these affirmations. I realized, wait a minute, if I am these things, if I start to identify as these things, I feel them and I don't need to put them on me. And in the past 5 weeks, now that I am identifying with strength, with beauty, with love, with harmony, with peace, I am peace, I am love, I am life. And I want to touch on that, I am life. That has been the most powerful affirmation I've had in the last 5 weeks. But now that I've started to identify with this state of being, this identity, I have become less attached to the body and to the mind. And it's been absolutely beautiful. So when someone's approached me with the intention of being angry, with the intention of bringing me out of my character, you know what that's like when somebody just gets up in your spirit and you can't let them go. Usually you feel defensive, you feel like you need to get angry, you feel sad, you play the victim, and I've played all those cards before. But in identifying with this new I am safe, I am whole. I am life.
I am open to receive.
That rise, those reactions that people or situations used to bring out of me are no longer there because I don't identify with them. They are not of me. You cannot partake in something that is not of you.
I am wealthy.
Let me try to give an example of that because I feel like the words are coming out, but not everybody, not everyone is an auditory processor. It's like, I think I gave this example before. Maybe I was just talking to somebody about it, but it's like if you're in third grade and you have somebody in 12th grade trying to explain, no, actually vice versa. It's like if you are in 12th grade and you see that a third grader is struggling with their homework. You may empathize with their struggle, but you don't feel the same struggle because you've been there, you've done that. It's not of you anymore. The third grade level is no longer of you. It's the same thing with no longer identifying with vibrations that are not of you. You see them, you may be compassionate towards them, empathize with them, but you're like, you know what? It's like if someone's angry, if you have a friend that they like to vent and you feel for them, but you're not caught up in the drama that's happening in their mind. I feel like that's a better example. When you identify with what that friend is saying, you'll feel it. Like say if they're talking about work and they hate their boss and it's a really negative work environment or whatever the case is, and you're also in that same space, ooh, y'all can go in. You talk and you're like, yeah, man, I hate this one person at work and they're always bringing drama and I can't stand them. They always bring my vibrations down. And you're just both going back and forth, yeah. And you're creating this same frequency. You recognize where they are so you're able to be in it. But if you're not in that space, your friend can vent all day long and you can listen and it goes in one ear and out the other. You listen, you take it in, you're able to talk with your friend, but it doesn't sit here. That's what these affirmations have been like to me. And I'll give you one example of how that played out. I was in Minneapolis and I had just left having dinner with some coworkers and I was walking back to the hotel. It was St. Patrick's Day. And I knew that a couple of my other coworkers were at a bar nearby, so I was just gonna swing by, say hey, and leave. And along that way, there were some other people out on the street, but I remember specifically there were some guys walking next to me, and I remember them because one guy had on a lime green suit. Excuse me, one guy had on a lime green suit. So anyway, we just happened to walk into the same bar, walk a little bit ahead of them, and I get to the door, and the doorman says, oh, can I see your ID? Now, my ID was on the back of my phone. It was tucked into one of those little pouches, whatever. It was in my pocket. I had on coats because it was cold out and all that sort of stuff. So it's taken me a while to get it. And so I just say to the bouncer or the doorman, oh, I'm sorry. I'm actually just looking for someone. I'm not going to stay. And then the doorman says, okay, I still need to see your ID. It's fine. Then the guy behind me, the one with the lime green suit, says, we understand that, sir. Here's my ID. And at first, I listened and I was like, whatever. And I went on about my business, found my ID, showed it to the bouncer, walked around, left. But it kept eating at me and I could not figure out why it was eating at me. That this person went out of their way to be unkind and just like, who are you? Where did you get off? Like, no, wasn't nobody talking to you? Mind your business. But I realized that I was identifying with that because I've noticed that for myself. When I'm in new cities, my body and my mind are on high alert. I'm constantly scanning the area for danger, especially being a single female traveling. A lot of times I do feel really, really vulnerable walking around on the street. Like legit, I've been out in countries where I didn't, like it wasn't even an Western Germanic alphabet. Or what is it? Yeah, it wasn't of a dialect that I could even understand. But in my older age, I've become more cognizant of being a single female walking around. And because I was identifying with that vulnerability and with that sense of being a victim, I took offense to what he said because I feel like this man who was with another man went out of their way to be passive aggressive towards a female. It just made me feel very uncomfortable. And I was very cognizant of the fact that I had to leave that bar and walk another maybe 3 blocks to my hotel by myself. It just made me feel uncomfortable. And I stewed over it. I talked to my coworker about it. They made me laugh it off and all that sort of stuff. And I actually posted another video on that about in the spirit of St. Patrick's Day, protecting your peace and praying for people. But in that moment, I identified with these lower frequencies that brought this rise out of me. And because I had been doing these affirmations, I had to take a step back and say, wait a minute. I'm coming to this. I'm identifying with this as a defensive person. So in that moment, it was like, I am defensive. I am hurt. I am vulnerable. I am a victim. Don't nobody want to hear that. That even feels uncomfortable saying it out loud right now. So what I had to say was, wait a minute, no. I'm not identifying with that anymore. What am I identifying with? I am peace. I am loving. I am compassion. I am life. And in the spirit of turning that phrase around, I was able to find compassion in my heart for those people. And I was able to identify with something that was not of that vibration of victimhood. So when it comes to affirmations, yeah, they work. They absolutely work. If you want to do some now, just go on YouTube, type in I am affirmations. Tons of stuff comes up. This one that we're listening to in the background now, this is 54 minutes long. Not saying that you have to do it for that long. I prefer something that's like 10 minutes. I used to do it more like a meditation where I would sit down cross-legged and I would like repeat it out loud. But now that it has become like I said, at first it was like a new skill. I had to learn it. I had to get used to the verbiage of it. Now I put it on while I'm starting my day. I listen intently and I say it out loud, but I'm at a point where I can say it while I'm making my tea in the morning. While I'm making my tea in the morning, while I am, just doing my morning ritual. The last thing I wanted to touch on was the affirmation that has been the most powerful for me. I am life. And the reason this affirmation has been the most powerful is because when you say I am life,
I am motivated, I am dedicated.
You put yourself in a flow with every single thing in this world that is also living. And somebody explained to me recently, or maybe I was listening to a podcast or something, that everything that you see around you is from a previous point of awareness, meaning somebody had this great vision, this great idea, and created it.
I am powerful.
For instance,
I am persistent. I am strong.
My roommate hand knitted these. This is a hand knitted pillow. So with her creativity, with her vision, and she did 2 of them too. They're really soft. But these are hand knitted, and she was able to make those. And because of that vision, I am able to enjoy those, and they're able to look really nice in the living room. But that's also somebody else's creation. So even though I can enjoy it for a while, it will become old. So take a minute and look around at your room, at the cafe that you're sitting in, at the job that you're in, wherever you are. Look around and realize, like, all of this is old. If it's old, it is dead. If it's dead, it has no life. So if no energy is created or destroyed in the world, where does the new life come from? It comes from you. So that affirmation was the most powerful for me, to say, I am life. And I took that onto my purpose as understanding I am the one that is going to bring in the new paradigm. I am the one that is going to bring in a new plane of existence, a new pattern of thought, a new mode of doing things, a new space of innovation. I am life. There's that saying, if you want to see something done, do it yourself. Be the change that you want to see in the world. That's what that means. It has to be you. It has to be us. It can't be anything else. It can't be anything else that has been put in place in the past, because it's already done. It was already here. It served its purpose. If you want to see something new, you have to do it yourself. Be the change that you want to see in the world. I am life. You are life. So I'm going to leave you with that. Like I said, if you want to do some affirmations, you can make up your own affirmations, but to kind of but I also feel that if you're getting tons from this video, then you perhaps may not be at the point of awareness of having more vision for your life than you have seen in the past, or if you have seen other people do. So go on YouTube, type in I am affirmations, and tons of them come up. So good luck with that. Do them tonight before you go to bed. Do them in the morning when you wake up. It doesn't have to be long. It could be 30 seconds worth of affirmations, but find one that works for you. Love and light.